In the Know, a radio program talking to the newsmakers in Ogle, Lee, DeKalb counties and beyond, keeping you in the know. Here's your host, Charles Van Horn.
Good morning. Joining us in studio to talk about an organization that's very important for Lee and Ogle County, especially to children who are in crisis and families who have experienced trauma. Executive Director Jessica Cash from Shining Star Children's Advocacy Center. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles. Thanks for having me today.
You have a very important job. There's other organizations that do similar things, and everybody's sort of carved out different parts of what they do in regards to combating child abuse. And of course, April is Child Abuse Awareness Month.
Correct.
And so we've been talking about that quite a bit. First off, Shining Star got their start in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, Shining Star was started in 2002 by a group of individuals that worked on child abuse cases that saw kids being interviewed in police stations, hospitals, in their home where the suspect might have been, and really started the movement of child advocacy centers around that time and found a better way for kids to talk about sensitive topics.
And that is really a tough thing because as investigators and law enforcement, they do have to get to the nuts and bolts of the case. They have to get the testimony and the evidence gathered to have justice happen. But sometimes the machine overlooks the needs of the children.
Correct. Yep. So at our center, kids can come there. It's a very child-friendly environment. There's toys. It's colorful. They meet with our forensic interviewer, just the interviewer and the child, while the rest of the team of prosecutors, law enforcement, and DCFS watch in a different room. And our interviewer is trained on how to talk to kids on sensitive topics in an age-appropriate way without causing more trauma to that child.
And it's got to be a tremendously difficult job for those individuals. I think we can all sort of realize where those conversations unfortunately go and how heartbreaking it is for not only the children, but obviously the people that work there too. I mean, you guys have to be cut from a different cloth to deal with this stuff.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely a calling for all of us that work there. We have a staff of 4 people. So we do the forensic interviews. We also have a family advocate, Tracy Greenwald, that works with the families from the very start of the case clear through the end. So she provides support to the families. She provides referrals for specialized medical exams, counseling, whatever needs the family might have. She goes to court with families so they understand the court process and works with them throughout the whole case. We also have a counselor, Nessa, who meets with kids 3 to 18. We have an office in Oregon for counseling, and then we have our Dixon office. And she provides trauma therapy to kids and sometimes parents to help them heal from whatever they've experienced.
So not only do you work with the children and the families, obviously prior to, like in the investigation stage and the prosecution stage, but you stay with them afterwards too.
Correct. And we use a multidisciplinary approach. So right from the beginning, we're working with law enforcement, we're working with prosecutors, DCFS, to make sure every need that child and family has is met. And that is a variety of services at our center. Sometimes we refer out to other agencies like here in Rochelle. Hope of Ogle County helps with some services. That way the families are getting exactly what they need, hopefully in one place if they can get it all done at our center. But we're really focused on working as a team with those other professionals to make sure the families get what they need.
About how many cases do you guys see a month? And you guys cover, obviously, Lee and Ogle County. But about how many cases are brought forward to you guys where you have to get engaged and get involved?
Sure. In fiscal year 23, we did 219 forensic interviews. So for 2 smaller counties, that's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Each month kind of varies. We have busier times. The schools do the Errand Law presentation, which talks about safe boundaries, okay and not okay touching. So we do see an uptick sometimes after those presentations are done of kids disclosing. But each month looks very different.
Joining us, Jessica Cash, Executive Director of Shining Star Children's Advocacy Center. You guys have an office in Dixon, but you mentioned before you have facilities in Oregon where you do some other stuff as well. And you cover Lee and Ogle counties. Now, do law enforcement or prosecutors get a hold of you any time of day, 24/7, or is it sort of a thing that they schedule for these appointments and interviews?
A little bit of both. We are open 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. We are available 24/7 because emergencies happen and sometimes kids can't wait till the next morning to talk about whatever's going on. So we are available 24/7. We can come in and do interviews if needed because it's really important those kids are in a safe place.
And if you are listening to this and you're thinking to yourself that, oh boy, there might be a child that is in danger, or you think there might be some at-risk behavior happening, what advice do you have to a parent or a guardian who's maybe just on the outside edge of a situation, who they don't know how to react or what the next step should be to try to get something done?
Sure. We always encourage parents to call us if they have questions, if they have suspicion, if they need referrals to services. Even if they're not a client of ours, we gladly give out information or just kind of help talk them through whatever's going on. If it is a situation that needs to be reported, we can help them find the appropriate people to report to. Obviously, DCFS is 1-800-25-ABUSE. There are some cases that DCFS cannot take because of their parameters, so we always encourage people to contact law enforcement as well if they do have suspicion or need to report abuse.
And that is always a tough call to make because, you know, you as somebody who's overlooking a child, you know, especially at more than arm's length, so to speak, in regards to being like a grandparent or something like that. Now, schools do a good job with their staff and mandated reporters, but there's other things that everybody can do to sort of step up and help protect children. You guys do a lot of work with children, especially you talked about the mental health services, about recovering from abuse. That is something that obviously has been sorely lacking in the country for many years now. That program, how successful do you feel it is? And are there people still in the program years later who just find it comfortable and are happy to have somebody to talk to?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. So our counselor's caseload stays full.
Yeah.
Because of the complexity of the cases, we kind of have a limit that we keep as far as a caseload. So she also provides a teen support group every other week. We do a caregiver support group every other week, and we also do a teen summer camp. So we have a lot of opportunities besides just the individual counseling to help kids and families heal. Nessa, our counselor, is trained in EMDR therapy and also trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, and those are two really effective methods in helping kids with trauma. We do have some kids that just come for a few appointments for body safety, up to kids that have been in counseling for several years. Maybe they have a court case going or whatever extends their treatment. Our main goal in therapy is to get kids stabilized, get them out of their crisis, and then if need be, refer on for long-term counseling to other agencies.
Shining Star, small organization. You said you have a staff of, what, four? Yeah, so obviously very busy.
Yes.
Based on your caseload. But to make the wheels go round, you guys do have to hold special events and do things to help bring awareness to not only the organization, but to help you guys stay in the public limelight. You have a big event coming up in Dixon on April 19th.
We do. We are hosting Hands Around the Courthouse. This will be our second year we've had this event. It is a national event, so it's done in other places as well. It's a good time to just educate the community on child abuse, bring awareness. This year we have Judge Eckert from the 15th Judicial Circuit speaking, and we also have Lee County Sheriff Clay Whalen speaking. Judge Klon and myself will be making some opening and closing remarks, and we're hoping to see a lot of people out there just to bring awareness and bring support.
So Hands Around the Courthouse, will you literally ring the entire courthouse?
Last year we did not. Some people are still a little iffy about COVID and touching others.
Okay.
So we had some pinwheels we held up in the air and kind of did our own thing with that. But it is held on the courthouse lawn at the old Lee County Courthouse.
With the on the hill there.
Yes.
Yeah, the big hill there. That's fun.
Yep.
Hopefully the weather cooperates for you guys to get that done. And that's going to be at noon on the 19th. You guys have a website as well with information about this event, I believe, on the website?
We do. Yep. Under the events tab, it is on there. If it does rain, we are hosting it inside at the courthouse. ShiningstarCAC.org. Jessica Cash joining us, talking about Shining Star Children's Advocacy Center. And for the last couple of weeks, if you've been paying attention to your social media,
you've noticed that, Jessica, I think you've caused a bit of a stir among local law enforcement agencies, different places, different city officials and communities all around Lee and Ogle County. What shenanigans are you guys up to?
This is our favorite time of the year and our favorite fundraiser. So each year we host a jail and bail fundraiser where people can be nominated to be inmates for our fundraiser. They are issued a summons to support Shining Star. Each inmate's given a goal of $500 to raise for their bail. Some have been served at city council meetings. Some have been served at work. We try to make it fun. We post those inmates on our social media page. They're all provided a picture and a personalized link so people can donate.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yes. Here in Rochelle, Detective Beneski is one of our inmates. Ashley Patrick from AP Massage is one of our inmates. So we're having a lot of fun with it.
The inmates, they have $500. How far over the goal has somebody gone?
Last year, I believe we had somebody that made it close to $2,000, which was amazing. It kind of became a competition between a few of the people, and we were really, really appreciative of their support.
That's fantastic. So, talking about budget, you have other fundraisers as well?
We do different fundraisers throughout the year. We actually have a band that's doing a fundraiser for us on May 19th in Dixon at Tipsy's. It's the Otter Limits Band. We'll be posting that more on our Facebook page soon, but we'd love to have everybody join us at that as well. Always
great to raise money for a good cause. You guys will be out and around. I assume you guys have events you show up at as well.
Yes, we do. We just last Friday did a National Wear Blue for Child Abuse Awareness. If you look at our Facebook page, there was tons and tons of support for that. Big organizations, individual people, it was almost overwhelming how many people wore blue to support and to bring awareness to child abuse.
Shining Star Children's Advocacy Center. There's a lot of sensitive things that can go on in these child abuse cases. And obviously, you're not just the end all be all in regards to getting help for children or therapy. You mentioned referrals. Are there other organizations that you guys sort of partner with that help do some of the same things or help obviously families recover from something as devastating as child abuse?
Yes. In Lee County, we also work with the YWCA of the Sauk Valley. They're similar to Hope of Ogle County. They provide assistance with orders of protection or counseling if it's someone we can't accommodate for counseling. We work with Rockford Sexual Assault for counseling referrals when needed. We also, like I said, work with Hope of Ogle County here. We do receive grant funding from Rochelle Area Community Foundation, so they help support some of our programs. We are actually hosting a training on April 23rd that the Community Foundation helped sponsor some of the food costs, so we appreciate that support. There's a lot of different organizations in Ogle and Lee County. CASA is another one. Sometimes we get confused with CASA because we do similar work. CASA works with kids once they're in the foster care system, being a voice for them in court. So they're kind of already through the investigative process where we see them and into foster care or some type of protective custody.
Doing very brave work, the folks at Shining Star. You should always applaud them for engaging in the sometimes devastating conversations and topics. You guys have to have very strong wills to do what you do because, face it, a lot of the times when you speak to these kids, it's probably the worst day of their lives. It's a traumatic experience that you guys deal with, and bless you guys for the work you do because it's incredible. And imagine, I guess you guys know that prior to that type of things, the treatment that the children received in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s when these types of support things weren't there, had to have just been terrifying for the families and for the kids.
Yes, and we often hear from parents or adults that we talk to that they wish they had somewhere like Shining Star when they were a child and went through similar experiences. So we're hoping to end that cycle for kids, that isn't the case when they grow up, that they get the support they need and can have healthy lives.
And you mentioned doing some things at the area schools, right? You guys sometimes go into schools and talk about things?
We do not do the Aaron's Law presentation. Yeah.
Okay. So If anyone has any questions or wants to donate money, of course, go to your website, shiningstarcac.org. Will you guys accept financial donations any time of the year?
Of course. Of course.
Anything else, Jessica?
No, I just thank you for helping us get the word out. April's a really important month for us. We do this work all year long, but we really like to push it and get awareness in April. So thank you for having me.
And Hands Around the Courthouse, Dixon Courthouse, April 19th, starting at noon. Blue pinwheels will be available.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this week's In the Know. The program returns next week at this time with another great conversation with someone from your community.